To thank you. We thank you for life, for health, for provision, and for the opportunity to gather and work together. You are the giver of every good thing. We thank you for each person here, for the talents and insights that they bring. May our hearts remain grateful throughout our time together, and may our work reflect our appreciation for all that you've done. We ask for blessing and favor upon this meeting, and especially for our new directors that will take over for Hugh and me. Give them wisdom and inspiration to do what is right for all of us that call the Woodlands home. May the decisions they make today and in the future create ripples of blessing that extend far beyond these walls. We ask this in Jesus' powerful name. Amen.
Amen.
The Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
The Texas Pledge.
Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible. Thank you, Diane, very much. Do we have any comments from the public tonight? Kelly? No, doesn't look like it. Jeannie, we have any adjustments to make? Okay. So it takes us to the consent agenda. We have a motion to approve the consent agenda.
A motion.
I'll second.
Do we have any discussion items on the consent agenda? Okay. Consent agenda passed. Takes us on to the regular agenda, item number 9.
Gotta take a motion. Consent agenda.
I motion.
We did.
Yep, I second. Yep, we're here. We're tracking here.
We're rolling. Okay,
All right, 9 through 17.
just raise your hand.
I'll go ahead.
Okay.
9 through 17, I'll go ahead and go through those.
Okay.
First item is to accept the qualification statements, bonds, oaths of office, and affidavits of current director for our new directors, Rick and Ron. So I did provide them with those documents. They have them to be able to be seated today. We do need a motion to accept those documents. Then I will administer the oath, and then we'll have them seated to participate in the remainder of the meeting.
I move that we accept the documents.
Move to second.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, motion passes.
I heard that one.
All right.
Do the oath. Who wants to go first?
It doesn't matter to me.
I'll go first.
You're right here, so let's do you. All right, you raise your right hand, and then at the end, say, I will, do. And, that will complete your oath. You, Carl Ron Inman Jr., solemnly swear or affirm that you will faithfully execute the duties of the office of Director of Montgomery County MUD number 47, the state of Texas, and with the best of your ability, preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution and laws of the United States of this state, so help you God.
I will.
Congratulations. Sir.
Thank you, sir.
All right. You, Roy Richard Ray III, solemnly swear or affirm that you will faithfully execute the duties of the office of Director of Montgomery County MUD number 47, the state of Texas, and to the best of your ability, preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution and laws of the United States and of this state, so help you God.
I do.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
All right, gentlemen, y'all are officially sworn in and can take your seat to be able to serve as a director on the board. And I think we have Eric here with a couple of mementos for our outgoing directors.
Yes, on behalf of Woodlands Water Agency and MUD 47, just wanted to present these plaques to both of you, to Diane Nielsen and to Hugh Cavett. And it says, our sincere thank you and appreciation for exceptional leadership and dedicated service to Montgomery County Municipal Utility District number 47. And I believe both of you came in on May of 2022 and through May of 22 today.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
really appreciate working with both of y'all and your service to the community, and we thank you.
You're
Yep, thank you.
Thank you.
All right.
You want to say anything?
Hey, yeah.
Okay.
Okay, and I think especially because, to the 465 people that voted for Hugh and myself, and all the people that block walk for us. And this has just been an enjoyable ride. I made 2 promises, and one I think we fulfilled, and that was to make this a very transparent agency. And in the 4 years that I've been here, we've accomplished so much. I mean, we have now a community working group. We're in all the social media. We've got John and Stephanie, and the amount of communication now that's going out to our constituents is like night and day from the time that I started. So that was really good. The second thing that I kind of promised is I said, there's got to be a way outside of the box of telling the story and, getting some money in from the outside. Well, it's taken 4 years to basically tell the story. And in the 4 years, we've done a lot of research. We've learned a lot. We've put a lot of work together that we've got a good compendium of data. What we didn't have in the point was somebody to kind of listen to us. And going in, I thought maybe we would have an audience with Dan Crenshaw, but I don't know. He's pretty lazy, but he's not coming back. And I have a lot of faith that with Representative Toth might becoming Congressman Toth, that we'll have a much better voice and an advocate for us to be able to accomplish and bring home funds from Washington, D.C. that I really thought that we could bring 4 years ago. So I told many of the people that I campaign with, I was like, how is it that in Atlanta, they can get a big grant to get refrigerators to people? And it's like, if you can do that, I mean, we certainly can take some big projects that we have and go into Washington and go into Lee Zeldin's area and the Environmental Protection Agency and write some grants with some good ESG and get some things going forward. I kind of got slammed by Representative Crenshaw. I was just like, what? Can't really see going forward with that. But I think with a change in leadership, with maybe Congressman Toth coming in November, I think that this will open the door for more opportunity for a lot of the projects that need to happen and need to get done to be able to get, an ear in Washington, D.C. to get some grant money maybe to come down and help with some of this stuff. The other thing, and to the 2 of you that are coming in, is like, there's some incredible people that are here. The few times that I was able to sit in on the trustee meetings, there are people that are passionate about this community, passionate about water, passionate about everything. You have an absolute jewel in General Manager Eric Peterson. I mean, since he's been here, things have changed phenomenally. And while I leave to go on and pursue different career paths and that, the future for Mud 47, for the Woodlands, for everything, I mean, just looks so promising. And the 2 of you new guys coming in, there's been some good road that's been laid down, and all you guys got to do is pick up the data, go forth and conquer.
Yeah, well said. Thank you. I'd echo many of the comments that Diana's made. It's been a pleasure to be on this board, to represent our community, and to be able to communicate with people with different opinions, to bring opinions together, and to ultimately come out on deciding areas. And I think we've, advanced many initiatives down the road. It was great to be able to be involved in Eric's hiring. Working, Eric, with you and your team has been an absolute pleasure. You bring an awful lot to this community.
True.
All of the contacts you make and the feedback we get from the community is just a real small reflection of how well committed you are to running your job and running your business.
Yeah.
And we all should feel really good about that. Ed, to you and your organizations, SJRA has a tough role.
Mm-hmm.
And I think you take a lot, you give a lot, and I think you're learning as well. I think the partnering I see with the Woodlands Water Agency and SJRA is really good to see. And I think your organization has probably learned some things along the way, I hope, in understanding major capital projects and how to approach things. And when you got some engineers and finance people sitting around the table, you'll get challenged a little bit.
Always good to learn that other people do things.
Yeah. And I think doing that in a respectful way and understanding that opinions are that we can find a way forward, I think is really important. To the board, I would encourage you to be prepared for every meeting, read all the material. For you guys, there's a lot to learn. Mm-hmm. Be prepared, commit yourself to come to these meetings with everything understood, and ask questions maybe that the answer to, just so maybe others can hear it, or somebody watching on the video can hear the answer that they may not know of. Sometimes that's just a good way to get knowledge and sharing, another way to communicate. So it's been an absolute pleasure, and I've enjoyed to see all of you and around the community, and maybe show up back here every now and then when we want to kind of challenge you a little bit. Okay. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
See you around.
Thanks.
Oh, I got a hug, right?
Bring it in here. I'm getting my drink here.
That's probably good. We'll leave everything.
Okay.
Okay.
When you're done, give that stuff.
Yeah, really.
It's a price for you.
You know where we live? Like 47. Hi.
Right there.
Take care.
Right there next to me. Which one? Yeah. So, yeah, I'll go ahead and finish up 10 through 17 and then we'll hand it over.
Okay.
All right, so item number 10 is to accept the elections not to disclose the personal information of our elected directors. We do have those completed, keeps phone number, social security number, that kind of stuff confidential in accordance with the Public Information Act. We have a motion to accept those documents.
I move.
Motion second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Item 11, election of officers to the board of directors. So we'll refer you to the cover page of your packet. You'll see the current officers for the board. We'll cover trustees as the next item. So first is president. So Hugh is stepping off as president. So we have a vacancy at president. The way we'll handle this is we will receive nominations first. Nominations don't require second. So however many nominations there are, if each of the nominees accept the nomination, then we'll do a vote. How we handle the vote can be at y'all's discretion. All the districts have just done it by voice or hand vote. Want to do it by paper, we can do that, but that's at y'all's discretion.
I'll nominate Laura Norton for president.
Thank you, I accept.
Okay, do we have any other nominations for president? Okay, if not, nominations are closed. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
I'd like to nominate Brad for vice president.
Thank you.
Accept. Okay. Any other nominations for vice president? If not, all those nominations are closed. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
I'd like to nominate Craig for secretary treasurer.
Accepted. All right.
All right.
Any other nominations? If not, we will call the vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Next, secretary, that was Diane. We have a vacancy there. Sorry.
I'll nominate Ron Emmett.
Okay. Accept. Any other nominations for secretary? Okay, if not, nominations are closed. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Next, assistant secretary. We have 2 spots that are available for that. We do typically try to have 2 assistant secretary treasurers to make sure we have folks available to sign
I'll
documents.
nominate Rick.
Usually have 2.
Okay.
There.
Rick and Ron.
Okay.
That guys, everybody has a position.
Correct. All right.
That's
So
beautiful.
accept the nominations.
Accept.
All right. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. All right, that takes us to item number 12, appointment of trustee. So do we have a nomination for trustee?
I'd like to nominate Brad Reel for trustee.
Accept. Thank you.
Any other nominations? If not, nominations are closed. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Motion carries. Next is first alternate. Do we have a nomination for first alternate?
I'd like to nominate Laura Norton.
Thank you.
Okay, any other nominations? Nominations are closed. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
I'd
Motion carries. Next, second alternate. We have a nomination for second alternate.
like to nominate Rick.
Okay, any other nominations? Not nominations are closed, except for nominations. Okay, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. All right, takes us to item 13, the district registration form. That's an administrative document that gets updated with the TCEQ reflects. Yes, ma'am.
My question is, if three of us can't make it, can we have third and fourth alternates for trustee?
I'll have to go back and look and see. I thought that the Woodlands Water interlocal agreement contemplated. I can't recall if it contemplates more than two. I'm not recalling ever having more than two alternates. We could always revisit that.
Okay,
Handling
look that up.
trustees or officers for that matter is not something that can only be considered after an election. We can do that at any time.
if someone isn't formally in that position on their mud, and we do have a situation where the third or fourth down the line would go to the meeting, would they be in a position to be able to vote on the trustee board? No. So we should look into that.
Yeah.
All right.
Registration form, so administrative document, need to update that to reflect our new directors as well as officer positions and new terms of office for 26 to 30. We have a motion on that form.
I move that we approve it.
Motion, we have a second.
Second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Item 14 is to update our list of local government officers. So we need to update that to reflect that Rick and Ron are now directors on the board. Do we have a motion on that updated list?
So moved.
And a second?
Second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Item 15, training requirements for our new directors. So Rick and Ron, in your packet, there's a memo regarding open records or open meetings training and Public Information Act training. There's a link to Attorney General website where you can complete both those trainings. They're 1 hour apiece. They need to be completed within 90 days of you joining the board. I generally tell directors, knock it out the first month, move on to other stuff. The good news is you only have to take the training once. So once you've completed this training, that'll cover you for the entire duration of your service as a director.
Is that in this packet?
No, that's in the materials that I've provided to you. No, it has yes. Yeah, third time's a charm.
I didn't know where to look.
Yeah. And when you complete the training for each of the sessions, there are certificates of completion. So if you would download those or print those and get those to Shelley, she'll put that in your file. That'll be evidence that you've completed the training. Questions on our training? All right, no action is necessary there. 16, conflicts disclosure reporting requirements. So also in your packet of materials that I gave y'all, there's a memo regarding conflicts. Very, very rarely do we ever have a director potential conflict issue. They're always very fact specific if there is one. So if you think you might have a potential conflict with a vendor who does work for the district or whatever, give me a call and we'll talk through what the facts are and determine, is there a conflict? If so, what action do you need to take to be able to mitigate or address that conflict? But there's no action for the board to take, but just let me know again if there's any potential issues. So that will take us down to item number 17, changes to cybersecurity and artificial intelligence training requirements applicable to directors. So this is not just for new directors. This is for existing directors as well. There's a memo in your packet. Looks like it's page 20 and 21 of your file of your packet here. So for our existing directors, you may recall a couple of years ago, we talked about cybersecurity training and how if you used a district computer system for 25% or more of your required duties as a director, then you had to complete that. In regular MUD world, that requirement, isn't really met by directors, but here, we kind of got into a little bit of the weeds about, is the Wi-Fi system, a computer system of the district, accessing the Google Drive. And so, basically told directors, use your best judgment as to whether, you use those resources for that particular period of time to determine whether you need to complete the training or not. When in doubt, just complete it. The legislature has changed that requirement to where now for cybersecurity, everybody has to do it, regardless of whether you use any computer system of a district or not. There are a few links there in the memo on page 20 that go to training programs that y'all can watch to be able to complete the requirement for cybersecurity. Shelley will email this around so y'all don't have to type in all the question marks and equal signs and all that stuff. You can just click on it. The second two on that page 20, the bottom two, those are two free training programs. So I suggest using one of those. And then for artificial intelligence training, that's a new requirement from the legislature, and it only applies if you meet that metric that used to apply on cybersecurity. You use a district system and use it for 25% or more of the time for your duties. Same advice I gave before on the cybersecurity. If you think you're close on the 25% from if you use the district Wi-Fi or accessing the Google Drive, go ahead and complete it. It's not really a large time commitment to do. And there's a couple links there for free training options there as well. Couple differences between these training requirements and the open records and public information or public meetings and Public Information Act training requirements. One, unlike the training we talked about a few minutes ago, you do it once and you're done. This training is an annual requirement. So all directors will have to do it every year. And also it has to be completed by August 31st. So it's not a 90-day time period. It's, this first one, you gotta have it done by August. Yeah, it's a set date, and then annually thereafter. So same as the advice on the other training, do it sooner rather than get it done and be finished. Another difference between that, the Open Meetings Act, Public Information Act training and this training, I'm told by some directors who've already completed this training that there's not a certificate of completion at the end. So we're going to go in the honor system, email Shelley that you've completed it. She'll use that as your evidence of completion.
Do you know about how long each one of these are?
Offhand, I do not.
No.
I've heard 30 minutes for the
Okay.
first one.
That's good.
Thanks, Adam.
All right. Happy to answer other questions if you have them. If not, Laura, I will turn it over to you as our new presiding officer.
Okay, that brings us to the SJRA Woodlands Division report.
All right, well, we have two things this evening. The first is going to be starting on page 22, run through page 37. These are our standard Woodlands and GRP monthly operations report. Highlights basically there's no violations, no major expenditures that were unaccounted for or unexpected, that is, and pretty much running the norm. We also do have a short presentation by Aaron on the 10-year project plan. And so we're going to try to get him in and get him out. I will state that although Aaron will be brief, the trustees did hear the full version of this for roughly 40 to 50 minutes of it. However, if y'all would like to hear the full version, he is here for the full version.
Right. So every year we update our 10-year project plan, basically our large project list for the 10-year period, starting in the next fiscal year 27. We got to plan ahead. So we do a lot of studies. There's a whole bunch of them listed in here. I don't know if you want to go through the whole PowerPoint slides. There's like 40 slides, but kind of just give you all some of the highlights. Of course, we have to plan ahead in order to have the money available when we do get the projects to be done. We have an asset management plan. Like I said, we've done a lot of studies on our different parts of infrastructure to plan this out, which are really going to be, for the most part, want to focus on is the projects that'll be in the FY27. And in front of you as well, you'll have this document, the project plan itself. So from 27 to 36.
If you don't have any, there are 3 paper copies here. Okay.
There's almost around 70 projects in here.
So you go
listed.
through this in the trustee board meeting, the thing you're holding up, your 10-year project plan.
Well, we went through the full PowerPoint and we talked about the project plan itself. We didn't go through all 70 projects. So we've been here till now, if we went through it starting back then. But every project that we have planned for that 10-year period, those 70 projects, in here there's a sheet about that project, description, the background, justification, a schedule of the project itself, the different phases, and then a budget schedule showing how much we anticipate to spend for each phase of the project, and then which fiscal year that project will, or that phase and those expenditures will occur. There's also usually a nice picture and a map in there too, of a representative of the project. But going back to the slideshow, which is in your packet, like I said, this year for 27, that's what you really want to focus on, because that will be going into our main budget, which we'll talk about here in a second. After that, we plan as best as we can based upon the information available, but it is subject to change based upon future studies we do or circumstances that arise, failures, things of that nature. And it's going through, we do reevaluate those studies we have done every 10 years or so. That's on slide 40, based upon our asset management plan. And on slide 41, there is a nice little illustration of some of the project or studies we've done in the past several years. Another thing to note is I mentioned they'll be updated every 10 years. So in the project plan, there aren't just, your design construction projects, there are additional studies to reevaluate those projects that we have planned. Oh, thank you. Oh, yeah. Going on to the next slide, you'll see even more depth of those studies and what they resulted in. So there's different categories. This is slide 42. And you can see different categories of projects we have in the project plan, studies we've done in the past, studies we'll propose in the future to possibly reevaluate what we have, and then the projects that we have right now that came out of those studies. Based upon those six-digit references, those correspond to projects in this document. So how do we, let's get this backwards. How do we fund the projects? Most of them are funded through our R&R fund, which is a fund that's got transfers every year from our O&M budget on a monthly basis. And those fund your typical maintenance projects like rehab of wells, EST, elevated storage tanks, ground storage tanks, things of that nature. However, larger projects that cannot be financed and kept up with that R&R fund pay as you go have to be done through some other means. So in 2017, we issued around $40 million worth of bonds. We've used about half of those. The other half we also have planned out for the coming years, as well as projects we have planned like water lines, which are currently unfunded. And there's two projects in particular that will need funds to continue, the Town Center Water Line Project and the Woodlands Parkway Water Line Project. We do have also grants that we received for one project that was dealing with flood mitigation at a lift station. So all that goes into how we fund the project plan. However, there's a lot of projects in here that we have planned that are not currently funded in any certain way, and that's what we need to come to y'all to help us vote. Moving on to slide 44, this overall schedule of how we present our project plans to y'all, what we do it. Also the O&M budget will be first presented to y'all next month. Also in July, y'all will vote or give direction to your trustee on how to vote on the budget. There's no vote actually on this project plan because it goes into the budget 2027. And then in August is when the trustees will vote on the budget. And it'll take effect on September 1 of this year. One major, going on to slide 45, there's a big difference in this project plan when they're talking about the 10-year total from last year and the year before. We're basically representing at half of what we had previous year in the total for the 10 years, going from 700 million roughly to 350 million roughly. Large part of that is because of the direction we've been given to focus on, first of all, repair in place wastewater plant scenario, as well as looking at the SWEs that we received data for from the study done by WWA, and looking at the historical flows of the plant and right sizing that plant to what the future needs are. So until that happens, we're taking all the costs for the actual infrastructure out of the plant. And only left that study is ongoing to figure out what we need and when we need it. Any questions on that so far? Now, on the next page, I just mentioned is 46. This is kind of a scenario of what we could be looking at for the wastewater plant. We don't know until the study's done as far as how much and when we need. This is a list on the right of things that we anticipate will need to be done at some point in the 10-year period. However, all we can figure right now is based upon some rough estimates, $75 to $150 million worth of projects may be added in the 10-year period. Moving on, after that, like I said, we're talking about projects that are for FY27, and I've got it categorized by water and wastewater. Two to focus on, really, my opinion, are the first two water projects, Town Center and Woodlands Parkway. As I mentioned, Town Center, we did able to fund through R&R the design. We had no funds for land acquisition, for easements, and for construction. That is what one of the projects identified for that supplementary agreement. The second project is the Woodlands Parkway water line replacement, another tier 1 project. Has no funding at all right now. So that's the other project that's identified for that agreement. Beyond that,
I stop you right there. Ed, have you heard anything from developers on any of the easements in Town Center?
No, we haven't contacted anybody.
beyond that, we have a variety of water well projects, rehab projects for the keep their water wells in service, elevate storage tank 6. And then moving into the wastewater side of filter projects, which are R&R funded or funded from bonds that we have already on hand. Force main projects, the Station 24, that's the one we got federal grants from for 4. Bar Springs, plant, belt presses at plant 2. And the large gravity main South Shore project, which is funded through 2017 bonds as well. One other thing I want to make note of on slide 67 is we have moved from our O&M budget to our R&R budget. Some projects that were seen as kind of ongoing maintenance from the same funding year to year to year to year, just an ongoing effort to rehab manholes, replace valves, paint facilities, things of that nature. So we thought, let's just all lump it together in the one fund and the project plan, take it out of the O&M fund. It's just a matter of switching locations of where those projects are.
How much effort is it to do these? I see all the water well rehabilitation. Not so much effort, but does it make a lot of noise when they do the rehabilitation on them?
There's like an air compressor, I know that can make noise, so they try to shield it. So when they pull the equipment, there's equipment like a big truck, and it's a diesel truck usually, so it makes that kind of noise. One thing they do is they have a giant bottle brush that they go in and scrub out the screen, so that can make a little bit of noise, but overall, nothing too terrible, no.
Okay.
But we do our best to work with the contractor to mitigate that noise. But we have currently 5 wells as with mechanical issues. That's 2 of those projects represented. And then there's another project in there that's for future starting in 27. And then the 28, that's the rehab of 2 wells that were identified in a previous study for needing work.
So wells working is still in the 20s. We have 25 working wells. Is that right?
Well,
2. We have
37
we have 37 in total.
total.
5 are out.
532, yeah, that are working currently.
And we have none in the Catahoula. They're all Jasper and Evangeline wells, right?
That's right.
Correct.
So going into the summary, slide 68, 2027, that's only looking at 2027. R&R funded projects for water and wastewater combined around $13 million. 2017 bonds, as of right now, from the original 40s, million bonds, amount that we were, got from in 2017. We've used about half of them. In 2017, we'll spend about $10 million of those remaining bonds. Federal funding, we're about spending half of what we got, and the other half will be in the next fiscal year. And the non-funded projects, that's where I'm looking at the town center water line, construction easements, and then all of those Parkway water line replacement for primary preliminary design, $15 million. So all I anticipate spending $27, $39 million. At the bottom, it's just a summary of where our R&R fund balances as of right now, showing that we can fund those R&R projects already that are planned for 2027. And that 2017 bond balance as of right now, showing that we have sufficient funds to spend that, $10 million. And then the other summary page is the overall 10-year period. R&R funded $101 million, 2017 bonds, it's pretty much using up what we have remaining, $23 million. All that federal funding we got. And then the non-funded projects, that includes Town Center, Woodlands Parkway, but also the other AC water line projects that were identified for the 10-year period, as well as a number of gravity sewer projects that were identified from a previous study, kind of in the later 5 years right now. They're large projects. We do not have the ability to fund them from R&R. So those will also need some sort of possible source of funding. We are going to reevaluate those in a couple of years just to make sure that we're on the right track and need to do them, now or maybe later. One other thing to note is the current transfers from R&R or O&M to R&R is $6 million per year. We're starting next year looking at increasing that by $250,000. So 10-year total as of right now, $353 million. But remember, that does not take into account anything being done at Plant 1.
That increase of $250K, you're going to raise the water and wastewater rates to the consumer 1%.
Correct.
We're going to propose that with the O&M budget that we present next month.
Next month.
Correct.
So we were asked the double asterisks, the non-funded projects, just to give all of them in a list. So wouldn't fit on just one slide. I had to go on the two. But so the first one is water projects that are currently unfunded, and then that second slide, sunny ones for wastewater projects. That I will open it up to any questions y'all may have, and if you think of them sometime later, you can always send them to Mr. Peterson.
What you were going to say to me.
Well, that's what it says on the slide, so I had to say it there. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Aaron. All right, are we on 20 now? Consider an act on the supplemental agreement with SJRA for issuance of bonds in connection with Tier 1 water line renewal projects.
Yeah, so the actual agreement that you've seen, that's under review, and Brian and I are getting together to work out some of the comments that we received from some of the directors. So that'll probably be next month or the following. But in the meantime, one of the questions that had come amongst various directors was, based on the water line renewal projects, and you saw that last month with the summary and the 32 and 30 million bonds for the Tier 1 projects. So that would be Town Center and Woodlands Parkway. The question was, well, what is the impact to the customers if we do those bonds? And so that's what this documentation is. The large sheets Adam prepared, and all I did was kind of go into each sheet and pull out as a summary so that y'all could see on the smaller sheet the summary of the 4 sheets together. And so what it's showing you is the impact to the customers, both on a water rate basis and tax rate basis. And it's broken up into 2 different options. One would be a 20-year bond versus a 25-year bond. And as you can see, so that first bond, 2026, which you saw last month, that was about, I think, 32 million. That would equate to, for the average customer, a residential customer, about $4.53 a month increase on the bill. And then once the second bond comes through, it'd be another $4.27. So this would be over the next, 4 or 5 years. If you went to a 25-year bond, of course, that goes down from a monthly standpoint, but your overall expenditure would go up and you would extend the length of the bond. So your overall paid would be higher because you're extending it another 5 years.
How does that affect the rates from 20 to 25?
You'll get
That's right there.
a lower
No.
rate.
No, the rate on
The
the
shorter.
bond.
The shorter structure will get a better rate.
On the interest rate.
Like eighth of a
Yeah, I
percent.
mean, no, it would be probably 20 basis points at this point.
And then if you went tax rate avenue, you can see that below. Likely not something you would want to entertain for this first or second tranche, just because, that everything below the line, you would need to go back to the voters for. And, I don't think you're going to want, I think what would make sense is once you have all the information back on the wastewater treatment plant, then they can kind of redo the tier 2 project cost estimates. And you might even throw this second bond up top into that whole basket and say, okay, if we're dealing with this much over the next 10 years, would it make sense to switch from a water rate, avenue to a tax rate avenue? And then if that's the case, then that would require a rollback tax election to go back to the voters. But you wouldn't want to do that for just $4 here and there. You'd want to do that as a grouping, as a long-term play. So I don't think that's the direction you probably want to go now, but that gives you some insight into the impacts.
It's a great sheet.
You're helpful. Thank you.
Yeah.
I didn't say it in the last meeting, but just to specify for water rates, it's the average of the last 3 years usage. And then for the tax rate impact, we use taxable value. So rather than getting into the SFDUE discussion, we just took a pro rata share of total taxable value to get a good indication of pro rata. So that all the backups there, in case you have any additional questions, I'm always happy to answer them.
Why would our water usage go down in my 47 on that first big sheet here? From
What year?
you got 23 to 24 to 25, and it goes down every year.
Yeah. What year? What year, right here?
23 to 24 to 25.
Water usage.
Yeah.
That's water usage. So
Yeah.
it depends on how much water is used by the customers, and that's dictated by water usage.
It was consistent across all
There
districts.
might be something causing that or not.
2020,
Spike in 2023 or something.
23 was a drought.
Oh, okay.
22 into 23, most of 23. After that, you're normal.
25 looks similar.
And all the muds are consistent. That's
Yeah.
good. We're just like all the other people in the Woodlands.
Different.
Any questions of Adam or Eric?
Now,
We don't need to do anything more on that, right? Today? Okay. Receive an update regarding status of Bear Branch, Panther Branch, Research Forest Drive Drainage Improvement Project.
No update today. 67 is looking at putting together some of the local entities to see if there's any additional funding that they might want.
They're going where for additional funding?
Local entities,
Oh,
Commissioner.
the county maybe, or,
Ultimately, I think the only way we're really going to get to the end as far as funding is to be successful with the engineers capital program, which, as we learned a couple months ago, that wasn't in their budget to do that feasibility. So we'll want them to put that into their next fiscal budget so they can complete that feasibility and identify if they want to partner on that project, which they ultimately do, and then they decide they want to go forward with partnering after their feasibility, then, that could get us the 10 or 11 million shortage shortfall that we're looking for.
Have you guys already approached, like Commissioner Wheeler? Yeah,
So we're trying to put a meeting together with all of them.
with all of them? Wow. Okay. All right, so next is the engineer's report,
I think the report that I have.
and then the attorney's report, Brian.
All right, well, circling back to the conversation we had a little earlier about trustees, even though we're in what I affectionately refer to as the bunker, and I can't hardly get service in here, I was able to pull up our interlocal agreement. And yeah, under section 2.8 of the agreement that creates Woodlands Water, it provides that each district shall appoint one trustee and no more than two additional alternates that'll be designated as first alternate and second alternate.
Okay, so it defines
Yeah.
that. All right, thank you for looking that up tonight.
Yep. All right, so that's all I've got.
Okay, general manager's report then.
All right, general manager's report starts on page 77. On page 77, I wanted to point out, we put this on there starting a few months ago. This is a summary of all the active projects that we're reviewing on behalf of those entities. We have about 178 active projects that could be reviewing a new development, new home or residential, commercial, et cetera. It could be redevelopment of different types of development. So when that occurs, they are required to submit drawings of what their intentions are. We review those drawings and then we go out for inspection to confirm that they did that properly based on the review that we had previously done.
How's the Dudley property doing? Is it done entirely?
Well, we don't, I don't know, as far as what.
A lot of cars.
The public utilities were done a year or so ago. And then the construction of the building, and that has been done for a while. So I think they're just leasing out the inside.
So we have full taxable value has been realized. The project's completely done?
I don't know if there's any more to be done as far as building construction. I don't know. As far as the original plans that they submitted, that part's done, yes. I know that that was just a piece of that, of those properties. So I don't know if there's more. There definitely is going to be more coming to the
West.
west.
Okay.
Yes.
All right, so that's kind of the holdup, that it's not completely done yet. The west part hasn't been.
For sure, the west part, yeah. I mean, the agreement that was reestablished a couple years ago identified certain trigger points for reimbursement to the developer based on them building a certain amount of infrastructure or appraised value and improvement. So they may have triggered that first spot at this point, but I don't know that all the building is not completely leased out that I'm aware of. But we don't usually get into that part of it. So
Okay. They come to us for money eventually, right?
the developer would on the public utilities, yes, which those are complete, but the stipulation is that the above ground improvements have to be completed to cover that, the debt on those public utilities.
And they're not. Okay,
They would have to come back to you and we'd probably need to run evaluation to see if that's.
I'm sure they'll be here when they think they've hit their metric, when they think they hit their threshold, so.
yeah, I would agree. I'd like a few $1 million, sure. All right.
So that was 77, 78. You can see there, we did 44 inspections on those types of projects. We did over 1,200 work orders this month across the Woodlands. Been pretty busy there. We've been reporting the last few months about all the ditch work that we've been doing, but we've put together a spreadsheet that actually shows you all the things that we have been doing. So I wanted you to kind of see a bird's eye view of all the work that has been going on as approved in the budget for this fiscal year. So we've been very busy. This is the work that's been done mostly by subcontractors and our crew that we hired a couple months ago. They've been very busy focusing on tree trim back and also some minor desiltation on some of the ditches as well. So a lot of work going on. You can see kind of what's been done, what's to be done. And then there's some areas where we need coordination with the property owner in order to proceed with some of the work. Because it'll disrupt some of, like the golf course and some of that stuff. So we'll be coordinating on that. And that's still moving on. And there's some pictures in your report on just some typical ditch improvement things going on that are on that list. Wanted to point out particularly to the new directors, we have a AWBD conference coming up in June 18th, 19th, 20th. That'll be at the Gaylord in Grapevine. And AWBD, Association of Water Board Directors. And that is an organization that assists in educating directors, new and old, as far as, experience levels of different things that are going on in the industry, different things that are related to specifically MUDs and mud business. And so they have multiple events throughout the year. Their biggest event is the summer conference, and that's the June one. And then they have a midwinter conference, which is a little bit abbreviated, one last day. That's in January. And then in the spring and fall, they'll have a breakfast and a dinner that's an hour and a half or so long. It'll be a single topic seminar type of thing. So if you're interested in getting signed up for the summer conference, reach out to Shelley and she can get y'all up with that. We will be putting together a new director orientation, something that we've been doing for new directors. It's a little couple-hour long presentation where we educate y'all on what Woodlands Water is, who we are, introduce you to some of our staff, talk through some of the responsibilities between SGRA and Woodlands Water Agency and all the various things that are going on within Woodlands Water Agency. And
Speaking of introducing the staff, because I didn't run the meeting, but I would like to say that's Shelley Lawson back there, or Kennedy. Is that your last? Yeah, it's Shelley Lawson. Kim Wright, Assistant General Manager. Jeannie Scott, Tax Assessor Collector. That's like a license that she has after her name, right? Maureen Bourgeois, right? She's our accountant and does a lot of other projects. Our General Manager, Eric Peterson. Adam Cohen is with Cedar Creek now, right?
Correct.
Wow, I can't even believe I remember that. And Chris Meeks over there from SJRA, and Brian Yates from Schwartz Page Harding. And then in the audience, John Geiger with the glasses there. Yeah, he's our communications director. And Aaron Schindewolf from SJRA. And hello there, Ed. He's in charge over there at SJRA, right under Aubrey.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you.
Also, we'll look at doing the new director orientation is slated likely for June 12th. That's a Friday. So more to come on that. We'll send out notification on that to a reminder and just get everybody on everybody's calendar.
Is there going to be one from the SGRA side also?
Likely so. And then also there's been some question about doing tours of some of the facilities as y'all were able to do in the past. So likely get some of those scheduled over the summer.
I'd like to be included on the dam one because I didn't do that.
For sure. Yeah, I like to do them in cooler weather, but we unfortunately
Maybe waiting a while.
we have a few months for that to come, but we'll see. Alma's meeting to just focus on the water renewal projects, the town center and the Woodlands Parkway project as well. So we'll look at scheduling something for that probably in June at some point. And then at the June meeting, we're going to need to get, in order for us to meet somewhere else other than here, we have to, all the MUDs have to approve a resolution identifying a meeting place, official meeting place. And so, this is one. We had the community center across the street, which is no longer. So we'll need to get the Brady Center listed on there, and then maybe SJRA's wastewater treatment plant training room as well, depending on how big the attendance is for the All-MUD. As you know, if all 50 come, we can't hold it here, and the training center at SJRA will be a little tight. And so that's why we use the community center across the street in the past. So if we can get the Brady Center lined up, that's pretty sought after as far as scheduling it with them. So that's why we don't have a date yet for that, but we'll get it on the books for that.
Very good.
Also in your packet on page 98 is a letter from the GOP and a spreadsheet looking document behind it that identifies the voting pro ratas for the global amendment for the GRP contract. And as you can see on page 102, the Woodlands Division has 22% share of that. So that'll be your voting pro rata.
We're basically the same as, City of Conroe, a little bit more.
That's right. That's exactly right. And also lastly, before I kick it to John, I always like to include customer thank yous. We have several this month. In fact, a couple of folks even took it upon themselves to write thank you cards and send it into our staff. Really,
Some unique ones.
very much so. Really appreciate when we receive those, and we continue to receive those day in, day out. So, with that, I'll kick it to John for communications.
Good evening.
Thank you.
Yeah, so John Geiger, Public Outreach Coordinator. All right, page 89 for your communications report. We are tail end of the second quarter of our strategic plan with the primary focus on water quality, heightening emphasis on that for the last 3 months. Be transitioning to water conservation for the summer months. You can see some other primary topics of our communications there, just below. And then below that, our school-based water education program. I want to touch on that. So we just completed a pilot program with 5th graders at Tough Elementary. This program is a joint effort with the township and the River Authority. So we're bringing water education and water conservation program to 5th graders in school, TEKS-based instruction, and then a take-home water conservation kit that the kids install with their parents and report back on that activity and the water savings from that. So we're going to assess that. We're going to make any adjustments that might need to be made. So far, great response, but we want to give that a thorough assessment and ideally implement this across 5th grades throughout the township next school year. So more to come on that. On page 90, up top there, we did receive an award. Eric there holding it at the Blaze Texas American Water Works Association conference down in San Antonio a few weeks ago. That's the Watermark Award for Communications Excellence. We got one a couple years ago. This one was for our efforts with WaterSmart. So we were able to bring WaterSmart registration from 17% to over 80% in less than 3 years. Got recognized for that. So that is a agency-wide effort. That's not a communications effort. That is the whole agency making that happen. Next couple pages, you've got examples of current communications, our water bill ad, what we're doing digitally, print and community magazine on page 91. Want to focus on this for a second. This is our Woodlands Water Weekly. This is an e-blast, comes out every Monday morning. And it's an e-newsletter that tells you how much you should water your lawn that week. It takes the guesswork out of that. And we put lots of pieces in there, water saving tips, lawn and landscape care, educational opportunities, and so forth. So I highly recommend for the new directors to sign up for that. You can do that with a QR right there. This piece will give you a good just good feel of our overall communications, the type of stuff we're pushing out across platforms. So, and it'll tell you how much to water your lawn. Next couple pages, 92, you've got our social media platforms there. If you're on there, please like us, please share us. That helps us expand our reach. And then finally on 99, we've got the current article in Woodlands Community Magazine on water quality, and then our in-person outreach calendar there. For all of our in-person outreach events, encourage to join us. They're great opportunities to talk to folks and just learn more about the community that way. Any questions? Thank you.
Thanks, John.
Thank you. All right, well, next is the trustees report, and our past trustee went to the meeting last week, but he didn't stay to give us a summary.
So the summary is in your packet on page 94. So probably the main points were we received the full presentation on the 10-year project plan that you saw tonight. The trustees did approve moving forward with completing the engineering analysis on the wastewater treatment plant. So that was a big point. I think those were the main points that we went through, but you can kind of read all of their items that were covered in that report.
I look forward to your being trustee and being more inclusive with what's going on, and I think we've got a bright future.
Thank you. I'll do my best.
So that leads us to closed session we don't need to go to, right?
Correct.
And no comments from the public, I see. And we can adjourn. Thank you.